Overall, this eclipse seems to be heralding in some beautiful changes in our lives, in career, finance, anything that is important to you, or even a relationship. Ultimately, all you need to do is start stepping forward, and everything that is meant for you on your path will be shown as you go along. Hi, this is Denise Matthew. I hope you're doing well. I'm back again today to talk about eclipse season. So this is the first eclipse that we have in the month of October, and this is going to be happening at 21 degrees Libra. And it is very interesting because right now we have the nodes in the gate. The north node is in the gate 42, and we also have the south node in the gate 32. What this is telling us is that we have these endings of cycles potentially that are happening. These endings could be very, very natural, where something sort of fades away. And although a lot of times we don't like change, the gate 32 tells us that change is really something that we have to embrace to always be growing a little bit stronger in our lives. And that's what the gate 32 is telling us. If you combine it with the gate 42, it's like the end of a cycle, the end of something that's no longer working the way you want it to work. This is also potential for some growth and for things to get bigger. So when we come to a solar eclipse, that is, it's a new moon. So this is where we are looking for some new patterns, new things that we want to bring into our lives. And that's what this energy is really talking about. So we have the sun and the moon, they're in the gate 32 line 1, and we also have the earth in the gate 42 line 1. The nodes are in the 5th line. So ultimately, it's not perfect. And you could almost say that there's a dissonance between the energies because we have a first line and also a 5th line. So it means that it might be something that you kind of have to work for to make it work for you going forward. What's interesting about this solar eclipse is that it is very similar to the full moon that we had on September 29th, 2023. For that full moon, we had Mars in the gate 32 line 1, and it was in detriment. Now we have the moon in the gate 32 line 1, and it's in an exaltation. So it's bringing that different flavor. Of course, it's still fixed, which means that it will lean more to one theme than the other theme. So in other words, there's more chance of it acting a more specific way when we have a line that's going to be fixed in exaltation or detriment. Ultimately, it is bringing a different environment. So with the September 29th full moon, we really had this idea of Mars pushing and trying to get things done and maybe not aligning for enough time to get things done. Where with the moon and the sun in the gate 32 line 1, it's really talking about this idea of having an ability to see the big picture, I guess, and the idea that you're going to be in it for the long run, that you're willing to take the time to look at the changes that you want to bring into your life. And this is what this energy is really bringing. It's saying, okay, this is a change. This is an opening for you to start changing something. And, as we move forward into October, when we get to the lunar eclipse, and that's going to be happening on October 28th, that's really a time where we're letting go. So in other words, this is looking at where you want to make the changes in your life going forward. Because the gate 32 is really about endurance, continuity, continuing to move forward. Because the last thing that this energy wants, or any of us really, is this level of stagnation where you just feel like nothing's really moving. The gate 42 is a great energy to combine with the gate 32 because it is saying that, okay, this is a time where you can end a cycle if you prefer. You can also maximize a cycle. Every cycle can be built on the cycle before. In other words, it's a spiral of life where we come to the same spot and we go, okay, is this something I want to continue on with, or is this something I want to let go of? This is really the question that this energy is asking you. So much like the theme of the full moon on September 29th, this is really saying slow and steady wins the race. Where earlier it might have been more challenging to try and pace yourself, now it feels like, yes, anything's worth doing is worth doing right. And so you're in it for the long run, and you're okay to sort of move into a direction where you know that the energy may not be paying back in dividends right away. It's going to take time for it to sort of manifest into something bigger, and you're acclimatizing yourself into this new way of being. And that's what this energy is really bringing. The earth in the gate 42 line 1 is saying that this is a time to try as many different things as you like, to try different options of how you want to move forward. Not too many, of course, because then it's all about just trying this and that and basically, as they say, throwing spaghetti against a wall. But this is where you can try a few different things. This is a time to be creative with things that you want to try, to kind of step out of the usual and do something that maybe is a little scary, but in the long run, you might learn something from it. And maybe it won't be perfect, but it will be something that at least you've given it a shot. You won't look back and say, oh, I should have done that, but I didn't. The other perspective is, if you start to receive some benefits or something that's looking like it's going in a positive direction, the changes that you're making. And these changes, of course, can be in any part of your life. Wherever you feel like you need some fresh energy is where these changes can be. Venus is in the gate 59 line 6, and this is talking about relationships. And this is saying, you could be wanting to change your relationships up, or you're looking for a relationship that's more than superficial, that's deeper, that is going to connect you with something greater. And that could be the change that you want. Maybe you don't feel that you're getting what you want in your current relationship, or maybe you're priming yourself to be open for something new. Alternatively, it could be about career moves that you want to make, because the gate 32 can be closely related to your career. So if there are things that you want to advance in your career, change, or even build on what you've been doing before, this is a time that will be beneficial to you to give it a try. The only thing is if you start to get some benefits or things that look like, oh yes, this is going in the right direction, there could be a tendency to want to expand really quickly. So in other words, maybe you started a new podcast and it's going well, and you seem like you're getting some people listening, and it's looking like it's got some potential. And you go out and you rent this expensive studio for your podcast, and yet you don't have the finances yet or the revenue yet to pay for it. It doesn't mean it won't come, but it just means that slow and steady. Take your time. Let's see how things unfold before you invest a lot of resources into something that may not actually be exactly what you want. So this is a time to sort of tweak what's happening, decide what's working, what isn't, and move forward. With the nodes in the fifth line, we know that's going to bring some level of projection. The projection for the fifth line is people believing in something that you can do. That's what this energy is bringing. So in other words, if people expect you to do something, or they have expectations about what you can bring to the table and you can actually do that, this is beneficial for you. It means that it can open doors for you to walk into something new where you're accepted and sort of championed already, in that they believe in what you can do. Alternatively, if you aren't quite there yet, and yet you tell people, yeah, I can do what you think I can do, that cannot work. That may not work necessarily in your favor. So this is a time to be very clear about what you can do and what you can't do. And when you're open and clear, then everybody's on the same page. And there's not going to be these expectations that will be unfounded, where you can be vilified for not actually coming through. This is an opportunity, because the fifth line, as much as it can be a lot of projection, it can be a projection that is positive, and that it gives you an opportunity to actually step into something new that you really want to get into. So for something new and trying things new, and even relationships, this is a beneficial time to be seen in a very positive way, which is really nice, compared to sometimes, there's the energy is more like, oh, can they do it? Like, I mean, if we had a lot of criticism here, where we had that with the last full moon, there might have been more of this, can you really do it? And questioning in you, as opposed to, we believe in you already, and let's move forward with this. The South Node in the gate 32 line 5 really asks you to be flexible as you move forward into the changes that you're doing, because not everything's going to look exactly the way you want it to look right away, but that's okay. This is about changing something that's quite important to you, and anything worth changing that's going to be sort of a long-term goal of yours is worth taking your time to get it right. When you rush to the table to try and push something out into the world before it's quite ready, a lot of times you regret, because maybe there was things that you really wanted to do. I really liken this to the idea that if you're making bread, for instance, and I love to make sourdough bread. That's been a lot of what I've been doing all summer, trying to challenge myself to get better and better. For me, it's like, that you're going to need extra time, because sourdough takes time to rise, and you need to have the right starter. And if it doesn't do it properly, then it's not going to have all that wonderful oven spring that everybody talks about and a lot of people take pictures of. So ultimately, what this is saying is that it's going to take time. It's going to take time to rise, and you can't rush anything. If you rush a loaf of bread and you shove it in the oven before it's properly risen to, to a level of where it's been proofed properly, it's going to be just a flat pancake and you're going to be disappointed. So this is what this is saying. It's okay. You have time. There's no rush. The changes that you want to make, they can be made, but it's one step at a time, and give yourself some leeway to take your time with it and not feel rushed to get ahead. What is meant for me will not pass me by. And that's what Jupiter is telling us. Jupiter's in the gate 24, line 6. Jupiter is exalted in the gate 24, line 6. This is called the gift horse. What this says is that sometimes there are things that are meant for you in your life, and yet you may not see it because you're too suspicious or you're not sure if it's for you. With Jupiter here, it says whatever is meant for you, you will not miss it because it is there in neon lights flashing. Anything that's not for you, you'll walk right by because you won't notice it. It isn't for you. It's a wonderful energy because it really does give you that assurance that you're not going to miss anything. You're going to get exactly what is meant for you. You're going to walk on the path that is correct for you. And that's a benefit that really we can tap into. So this is the seed that is going to grow into something amazing if you let it kind of take its time to simmer, to do exactly as it's supposed to. And wrapped around everything else, we have Mercury in the gate 57, line 3. And this is saying, okay, I'm going to give you some intuitive hunches. I'm going to give you the leeway. I'm even going to let you see a bit of the future. And you can actually, walk into that. Again, it's exalted in this energy. So in other words, it's giving you the intuition to know what is correct for you. So if you tap into it, it can really work to your advantage. The last thing that we have that's working to our advantage is we have Neptune in the gate 36, line 4. Now, this is only going to be here for a little bit more time. It will come again as it's going to retrograde back into the 36, line 3, and then it's going to move into the 36, 4 again in the future. But for now, this is where there are secrets that you might be getting, or you might hear about something. It might even be on a global stage where we hear secrets. They are beneficial to you in the long run, in the future. With Neptune there, you may not know exactly what these secrets mean, only that they are secrets that are potentially important for you in the future. So keep them in a space where they're protected, so you know that you have that information if you need to draw on it, if you need to journal it or whatever. When we look at the gate 36, this is about experiences. This is about living life. This is about the real world. So these are real world secrets that can help you on your path ahead. The overall message that this solar eclipse is giving us all is there are changes that you can make in your life right now. The doors are wide open. All you have to do is walk through and take your time. There's no rush to do anything. It is on your timeline to get ahead. You won't miss any opportunities. Right now, the universe is shining a bright light on us all and saying, you have an opportunity to move into something new if you really want to. So I hope you all have a wonderful solar eclipse, and I will be back again when we talk about the lunar eclipse that's happening at the end of the month. Until then, take care and bye for now.